Next law of leadership I want to talk to you about is going to really help you with your decision making. And the first part of it is something that we call prioritize and execute. What that means is you're going to have problems. You have problems on the battlefield, you have problems in business, you have problems in life. And really, because of Murphy's Law, all these problems come at you at the same time, right? You don't get one problem on a Monday afternoon, one problem on a Wednesday morning, and a final problem on Thursday afternoon and leaves you Friday free. Doesn't work that way, right? No, what happens? Monday morning, you got 7 problems, they're all hitting you at the same time. The principle here is that if you try and solve all of your problems at the same time, you actually won't solve any of them. And I need to focus my efforts on this biggest problem. Once I get that big problem solved, I can move on to the next biggest problem, and so on down the line. And that's how you can get through situations where you have multiple problems going on. And you can all think of scenarios like this at work, at life. It just happens. So next time you feel a little bit overwhelmed by a bunch of problems, take a step back, detach, and figure out what the biggest problem is. In order to properly make decisions under pressure, you have to detach. This is a common theme you will hear from me, and it is the common tool you need to utilize. And I truly believe that detachment is a superpower. It is a superpower to be able to step back, look around, and see the holistic situation that is unfolding so that you can make good decisions. So I'm having a conversation with Naomi. I start getting a little bit escalated with my emotions. She starts getting escalated with her emotions. I've got to actually pay attention to what's happening with me. Maybe I start to feel my face turn red. Maybe I still start to hear my voice start to escalate. I'm starting to get tense. Those are little red flags indicating to me that I'm getting emotional. That's when I'm going to start to take some interdictive action to calm down. Interdictive action, an action made to confront or halt the advance of an unfavorable, hostile, or harmful activity. The way I like to train people to do this, number one, I want you to literally take a step back. Take a breath. I like to literally look around. Let me see a different perspective. I'll take a step back, lift my head up a little bit, put my hands down. You know why I put my hands down? If you're a fighter and we're gonna fight, what do? You put your hands up. You're ready to fight. It's closing. I'm closing my mind. I'm closing off my defenses. I'm getting prepared to fight. I don't want to get that way. Instead, I put my hands down, take a breath, and I'm usually gonna actually nod my head to what you're saying. It's my way of telling you I'm listening. That right there is already de-escalating the situation, which is very, very positive. This detachment is not something that you only use in the workplace. In fact, it might be equally, if not more important, to learn to detach in your everyday relationships with your friends, and most important, with your family. If you come home from work and your spouse seems agitated about something, instead of saying, "Why are you mad? I've been at work all day," if you say, "Oh, there might be something going on. Let me take a step back, let me breathe. Hey, is everything okay?" That moment of detachment can save you from a night of arguments and misery and possibly sending a relationship in a spiraling direction. If you have children, you probably know that is the most critical time to detach. Why? Because we have such a strong emotional connection to our kids, which means it is even more critical to take a step back and realize that you're getting angry, and realize that you're getting angry at a 4-year-old. At a 4-year-old that barely knows what they're doing, and you're allowing them to make you mad. Take a step back, detach, recognize that it's a kid who's 4 or 7 or 14. And they're still trying to learn, and they're still trying to grow. And the best thing you can do is set a good example of emotional control, logical thinking, and moving forward in a positive manner. This idea of detaching is absolutely critical, and I think it's the foundational skill that you can have as a leader and as a person to improve every aspect of your life. So you've got all these different problems going on. You cannot solve them all at the same time. What you have to do is pick one. What's the biggest problem you've got? Let's focus on that big problem. Now, there's a balance. Does this mean I forget about all my other problems? No. We were doing an operation during my first deployment to Iraq, looking for a terrorist. And as we went into the initial target building and stormed in there to clear it of bad guys, it turns out it was literally a makeshift stable filled with goats. Immediately, I recognized this was not the correct target building, looked around, saw a building right next door, fit the description, sent the assault team over there. There was a bunch of women and children that were in a big hallway. They were scared, obviously horrified. There was multiple staircases going in different directions. There was hallways going in different directions, and my platoon was actually frozen. There were so many problems, they didn't know which one to address. In order to make good decisions, we have to act quickly. And I was known for being very decisive. Little secret, I cheated. And the way that I cheated was make small decisions very quickly and then adjust. I called it the iterative decision-making process. Very powerful tool. It's only a powerful tool if you pay attention to the feedback that you're getting. You make a small decision and the feedback tells you that wasn't a good idea, and you say, no, but I think I'm right, I'll keep going. Guess what? Your ego's taking over and you're gonna lose. I took a breath, assessed the situation, and immediately started putting out word. Hey, you three guys, grab those women and kids, get them in that room over there. You two, hold on that hallway and that hallway. You two, cover the stairwell. Start moving the assault train to clear the rest of this building. And as soon as I got done explaining what the priorities are, the team made it happen. When you're in a leadership position, there's multiple things going wrong. You need to figure out what the priorities are, and you can task out simultaneous priorities to get executed on. But if everyone is trying to solve everything, or if there's so many problems that people get overwhelmed, they'll either freeze up or they'll go in a million different directions and nothing will be solved. Take a step back, detach, and prioritize and execute. A very funny thing about leadership is that when you're making decisions, what you're actually doing is making your best guess.
Yeah.
Now, no one likes to say this. No one wants to follow me into combat. When the troops look at me and say, where should we go, Jocko? And I look at it and say, I guess we should go over there. No one wants to follow that leader, right? But the reality is, when you're making decisions in any scenario, you're actually just taking your best guess, which means you might be wrong. If you have your ego in check, that's not that big of a deal. So that's what this is about. These are decision-making tools to prioritize and execute, detach, keep your ego in check, make small decisions, hear the feedback, make adjustments. Coming up next, my fourth law of leadership and the most important way I've learned to encourage peak performance. And this is really the most powerful one if you can make it happen. It's called decentralized command.